The 2022 T20 World Cup has been a paradise for cricket lovers. Why? We have seen upsets galore, right from the first game that happened on October 16th till November 6th. We have seen upsets that have changed the entire dynamics of the tournament. Come to think about it, if certain teams have qualified for the semi-finals, especially in one particular group, it has to do with the performance of the minnows or the associate nations that we may have to say. Their performances added in with a dash of rain has ensured that this T20 World Cup 2022 will forever be known as the World Cup of upsets. Why is that? This particular team played a massive role today, and it caused probably one of the biggest sporting upsets, if you may have to call it. But look at the T20 World Cup 2022 right from October 16th onwards. First game, Namibia defeated Sri Lanka by 55 runs. And you are wondering whether Sri Lanka are going to qualify for the tournament. Then Scotland upset the apple cart by beating two-time World T20 champions West Indies by 42 runs at the Belrive Oval. And then Ireland have made it a habit of winning in major tournaments against big nations. So they also defeated the West Indies. But that was even more important because Ireland dumped the West Indies out of the race for the Super 12s. But in this group, later on, the last bottom three, Zimbabwe were the team that churned entire Group 2. Ireland beat England by 5 runs and that churned Group 1. And today, a decisive win by the Netherlands against South Africa, and that too by unlucky 13 runs, gave India the passage to the semi-finals. And because of this Netherlands win, they have ensured that Pakistan and Bangladesh also stand a chance, because the Pakistan-Bangladesh game, as we speak now, is a virtual quarterfinal with Pakistan scoring at a rate of 5 runs per over. But if we have to thank the team that started this entire trend, it was Namibia. Heartbreak that they couldn't qualify for the main Super 12s because they had set the ball rolling. Jan Freiling had given Namibia a big win versus Sri Lanka. His 31 and 2 wickets had ensured that Namibia pulled off one of the biggest upsets in the history of cricket. But Namibia crashed out, unfortunately, after losing to the UAE. And guess who benefited from Namibia's loss to the UAE? It was the Netherlands. Because Netherlands had lost to Sri Lanka in their last league game and they are hoping that the UAE upset Namibia. But UAE ensured that the Netherlands got the passage to Super 12 and that UAE residents would get Dutch Schengen visas for free, lifetime. That was the way how the qualifier churned. That was the preview to what the thriller would be. Scotland, they themselves made a big statement when they defeated the West Indies. But unfortunately for Scotland, they lost to Ireland and Zimbabwe. And that put paid to their chances. But it was still a decisive statement considering that Scotland have always underperformed when it comes to the associate nations. Ireland, forever if you have to include them, they were unlucky with the ICC's elitist attitude of keeping only 10 teams in 2015 and 2019. So they missed out on an opportunity to cause a lot more upsets. And upsets they caused, and because of that, Group 1 became uncertain until the very last day, which was November 5. Ireland beat England by 5 runs in Melbourne, and that was the main reason why Group 1 was thrown wide open. But Ireland's advantage was nullified by that abandonment that they had against Afghanistan. They gave a very tough fight to Australia, and if you have to look at it, from 25 for 5, they lost by 33 runs. Australia's chances to overtake England on net run rate suffered. So, inability of Australia to bowl out Ireland cheaply ensured that England got through, and Ireland's victory over England continued that trend. 11 years ago, they had beaten England in the World Cup. England had never won against the European nations, be it Netherlands or the Ireland in the T20 World Cup. Talk about Brexit hurting you big time. Yet another hat-trick. Joshua Little in that game against New Zealand in Adelaide showed that he had the mettle to be one of the best. took a hat-trick, became the second Irish bowler after Curtis Camphor to take a hat-trick, although Camphor took 4 for 4 against Netherlands in 2021. But the darling nation today, which the entire cricketing world will hail, is the Netherlands. They came through the Super 12 primarily because Namibia lost to the UAE, and they put up a decent show. They were hammered by Pakistan and they were hammered by India. But they defeated Zimbabwe in Adelaide, and it destroyed their chances of qualifying for the semi-finals. But today, on November 6, Netherlands achieved the ultimate victory by beating South Africa by 13 runs. Remember, even in 2014, Netherlands were unlucky to lose to South Africa by 6 runs. But here they had their revenge. Biggest sporting upset, if we have to look at it. South Africa's, because of that, what happened? Netherlands ensured that India reached the semi-final, and that is the reason why the Pakistan-Bangladesh game became a virtual quarter-final. Whoever wins from Pakistan and Bangladesh, they will reach the semi-finals along with India. And there could be double delight for the Dutch, because if India beats Zimbabwe, then the Netherlands automatically qualify for the 2024 T20 World Cup in the West Indies, because the top 4 will gain automatic entry. And if you look at it, 4 wins in 3 major ICC events, T20 World Cup events for them. Beat England in 2009 and 2014, and now have beaten Zimbabwe and South Africa. Massive, massive achievement indeed. We have to also thank Zimbabwe for the way how they played their cricket here. Remember, prior to the T20 World Cup, they had achieved history by beating Australia in an ODI after 30 years. I mean, if you have to look at it, only their 3rd win, but the first time ever they had won in Australia. And it was Zimbabwe that churned Group 2. Why is that? Because they defeated Pakistan by 1 run. And in hindsight, if you look at it, had Pakistan not benefited from South Africa's choke against the Netherlands, they would not have been in semi-final contention. But Zimbabwe undid all the good work when they lost by 3 runs to Bangladesh. That missed stumping, that fluff stumping which Nurul Hassan did, probably could have been an act of miracle, but it didn't happen. And that deflated Zimbabwe, who lost to the Netherlands in Adelaide. So, in a way, this T20 World Cup has seen upsets galore. And that is why we make a pledge, we make a plea to the ICC that let the associate nations play a lot more in the T20 World Cups, because the gap may have been bridged between the big nations and the associate nations when it comes to T20Is. When it comes to ODIs and tests, that bridge is still wide. It is as big as the Grand Canyon. One hopes that the ICC takes note of this and ensures associate nations like Netherlands, Ireland, Scotland, and also Zimbabwe, if you look at the lesser nations, I'll not say the associate nations, the lesser nations, make much more of an impact in the T20 World Cup. That is all from this special presentation that we have. We'll be back with more updates on Sports Today. Press the like, comment and share button. India versus Pakistan final on the cards. We don't know, but India-Zimbabwe is coming soon. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back with more updates. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.